Grok across the board is in a league of its own. And that's a quote from Elon Musk when describing Grok 3 upon its release. Is it in a league of its own? We're going to find out in today's video when we make it go head to head with some coding prompts against Gemini. Here on Grok.com, and as you can see, we have the thinking option selected so it can take its time. We have Grok 3 selected, so it is the smartest model. And we can hit enter. So here's what's happening. Our prompt is this: use Pygame, make a game that is a mix of Tetris and Bejeweled. The code could be very long, output it as one file, make it insanely great. So if you don't know, this was the prompt that they gave during the live stream. One thing I noticed, and hopefully you notice it as well, especially as I edit this video, you'll notice that I did some jump cuts in the thinking time, but I didn't move away from this screen. During the live stream, Elon Musk and his team at XAI jumped away and they started talking as the model was thinking and creating an output. And this really reminded me of the Humane AI pin live stream that happened to announce that product, where they would do jump cuts or they would talk, and this is to mask the idea that the model takes a very long time. Does that matter if the output is very good? The answer is no, not in my opinion. If we have a very good code output, then who cares how long it takes? But here we go, it is thinking still, and we are at over a minute, and you can scroll through it. You can see, hey, it knows it wants a grid system, and it knows some blocks, and we can keep going through, and it tells you exactly what it is thinking and how it is thinking to come up with the answer to our question. So we're at 100 seconds. I'm just going to jump to the point where it comes up with a answer. So this one took 125 seconds to come up with a answer, and you can scroll down, we can see the code. We're just going to copy this over to VS Code and run it to see how well it works. So here's VS Code. We got our file called subscribe, and if you're not subscribed, you want to do that now because it is free, and you get access and stay in the loop to all the latest and greatest AI stuff. So here is our Bejeweled game, and on first glance, we have Bejeweled. So can we connect? Yes, we can. So that's kind of cool. And it looks like something happened. More pieces were added. Maybe that's because I connected pieces. I am not sure. Give me a moment. I figured it out. The way this game works is there is Bejeweled pieces along the bottom, and every 10 seconds, pieces move up the board, filling the board. So you're playing Bejeweled, and I guess the Tetris portion is the pieces filling up the board. Interesting take. We can change the milliseconds down to something like 2000, and every 2 seconds the board will fill up with pieces. So now it should be a little bit faster, and you can see it has random pieces pop up and they are just dropping the pieces down. So the physics is good, the gameplay's okay. This is definitely more Bejeweled than Tetris. I'm not exactly sure where the Tetris comes in. Next, we are going to use Gemini. So on Gemini, we have a bunch of different models. I'm going to use the 2.0 Flash Thinking Experiment. I could use the Pro experiment for best for complex tasks, but let's just use the Flash, the lighter version of the two. I am curious to see how well this works. So we can see it is also thinking. It's saying from Tetris, from Bejeweled, both of them together, and it is coming up with its idea. And if we remove the thinking, you can actually see we already have code. So let's jump back and give it a try. We're going to remove the Grok code. We're going to add our Gemini code, and we will hit play. So this one looks a little bit different. This one looks more like Tetris, so we can actually drop our pieces. I can use the arrow keys, and I can move them down. So I guess if we get 3 in a row, what happens? Oh, all the green stuff disappears. So this is like Bejeweled where you drop pieces, but it is Tetris where the pieces disappear. So we can just move this one here, and technically that piece should stay. So you can get different pieces, as you can see. It just took a moment clearly. And anytime you get 3 in a row, it is exactly like Bejeweled. Let's move back to Grok. We're going to turn on thinking again, and I want the best possible output. It doesn't matter the time, but I do want to mention that Grok seems to be a lot slower. So we're going to hit enter, and this time we want a Python program that shows a ball bouncing inside of a spinning hexagon. The ball should be affected by gravity and friction. It must bounce off of the rotating walls realistically. So this is one that you might have seen online. It is pretty popular. People are trying it with different models, and not all of them are able to do it. ChatGPT struggled with it. DeepSeek does a pretty good job. How will Grok 3 hold up to the bouncing ball test? I think in the meantime, we should start a new Gemini one, because why not? Grok is going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to stick with our thinking experiment, and we can hit submit. So here we go. They are both going. This one should be faster based off my experience so far. And here's our code. It's already outputting. We go back to Grok, and this one is still going. So you can see the speed difference is significant. But again, which one can code better? Let's see. We are coming up on 3 minutes. This better be good. Oh, 166. As I said it, look at that. Here's our code. Let's do it. Paste. Will it work? And there is a ball staying in the middle. Oh, there's some gravity. What's going to happen? And it's out of here. The ball bouncing in a spinning hexagon is no more. So it struggles with this task. We're going to try the code from Gemini now. Goodbye, Grok code. And let's see what it comes up with. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. So this one actually has a ball bouncing in the hexagon. Okay, so just for transparency, I want to show you what I did just to take it a step further. So this is the original prompt we had, and you can see the code is the code I just pasted in. And if we keep scrolling down, I said make the bounce bigger, add a second ball, and make collision with the balls. So we can copy this code now and see how this one works. And this is the exact code. We can hit enter, and now we can see there are 2 balls bouncing around, where Grok literally had the ball shoot out of the hexagon. This obviously isn't the best way to determine if one platform is better than the other for coding. However, based off the prompt that they showed off at the presentation where they showed off Grok 3, I will personally say that Gemini was better. The code itself did exactly what we wanted. It was more creative, and it generated substantially faster. In terms of the hexagon and the ball with the physics, it is needless to say that Gemini won. So just from my early tests, and I did more tests than just these two, I have tried Grok 3 with larger code, and I've tried Gemini with larger code. I still give the edge to Gemini currently over Grok 3. And with that said, Claude is still probably my front runner for coding currently as of today. That could change tomorrow. And if you want to keep up with the changes in AI, don't forget to subscribe, because it is completely free to subscribe to this channel. So just do it now, subscribe, you'll get access to more AI content. So if you have any thoughts about the best model for coding, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
AI tools, AI news, AI prompts you can use. It's all for free, just come and see at FranklinA.com, where you're meant to be.